Hi, Bill Yannick here, your ConnexFM CEO. We're talking board operations today on the Daily Grind, and we have a former board member, a former board officer, a former secretary, and current president of Onsite, Jacqueline Frenzel. Jackie, welcome to the Daily Grind.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, before we get into the very exciting board policy governance, for the very few out there who don't know you or what you do with Onsite, how about a quick intro of who you are and what you do?
Sure. I am the president of On-Site Facility Management. We provide services throughout Canada and the US and UK, mostly cleaning related services, handyman, that sort of thing. And then in my spare time, that's what I do. In my full-time job, I just volunteer for Connex. So.
Very good. and yeah, you're everywhere, all over the place. Really help us out. And as you mentioned, a volunteer leader, and for our audience, was a board member right as we went into COVID, which was a unique board term to say the least. So, and during that time, you served as secretary. So let's start with, this is to educate and get people interested in the board, and that the questions termed the day in the life of the secretary. But what does a board secretary do at ConnexFM?
Absolutely. So a secretary, in simple terms, will keep the board on track and ensure the bylaws and governing policies are being upheld. Yep. So what this means is you're going to be recording and distributing meeting minutes, maintaining accurate records, drafting the planning calendar, chairing the governance committee, and liaising with the CEO, board chair, vice chair, and treasurer to ensure that all of the items that we've been charged to do are taking place over that board calendar year.
Well, and you dove into my next question a little bit, and so you can expand maybe a little bit on. We have monthly calls. The board with the CEO has monthly calls, and about quarterly we meet in person. How does the board, and then led by the secretary in a lot of ways, monitor things monthly and keep track of those goals as we work our way through the year?
Right. So we have what's called a planning calendar, and it's a really integral part of the board year. The board year runs April through March, so it's a little bit off kilter from a regular fiscal year. And this coincides with the annual membership meeting, which typically takes place at our national conference. And that's the time when the new board is going to be installed, and then those are when the planning calendar begins. So as a member organization, the planning calendar provides structure, and it ensures that all governing policies are reviewed in a timely and logical manner. So if you think about it like this, the bylaws are used to establish the organization. If they are the legal parameters of the association. Then we've got the governing policies that are used by the board and the CEO to protect, to direct, and to enable the association. So the governing policies are what the board really works off of to make sure that throughout the year, we are accomplishing our goals. The calendar keeps that board on track for accomplishing those goals.
Perfect. Okay, so that's how we measure, and we probably should have asked this first. So what do we measure? We work on our policy governance, and we have a set of strategic ends. So how does that fit into this picture of the planning calendar and what the board does? Right.
So the planning calendar is kind of a complex document that has different priorities set forth by month on it. As I mentioned, the board is required to ensure that the governing policies are monitored and that they are actioned by the board. So the governing policies are broken down into 4 categories for our association. We have the board process, we have ends, priorities and results, we have management parameters, and board management delegation. And then within each of those categories, we have subcategories that directly identify what that means and how we need to be able to monitor them throughout the year. So the ends priorities are directly related to the members, and they have 4 very broad expectations of the association in which we need to deliver. So not only as us as a board, but also you, Bill, as CEO and staff. So the board manages these, and you'll hear them a lot throughout the year. And these terms are really the guiding force behind the board and the association. And they are: members have the knowledge and skills for being a successful facility management professional. Members benefit from a trusted marketplace for FM pros. ConnexFM is the go-to entity for FM industry information and resources. Members are recognized as ethical, valuable, and credible. So each year, the secretary and chair get together to draft an annual monitoring schedule of these items. It's extremely important that the member association, as a member association, we are delivering access and products to maintain these policies. So every year on that planning calendar, we identify which months we're going to be monitoring these, what the parameters are, and then not only us as a board, but Bill, you, and other staff also provide reports on how we are achieving this. And then we set goals for the following year or the remainder of the year to make sure that we are touching on these points and really delivering a value to our membership.
Good stuff. Couldn't have said it better myself. And at the end of the day, as we say, the board's job is to tell me and the ConnexFM team what we want to accomplish with the guardrails, not necessarily how we need to accomplish it within those guardrails, and it works out real well. Jacqueline, thank you so much for your past service. I bet you'll be back on the board at some point. There's our pitch. You can skip one term and run again. So love what you did on the board in the past, and maybe we'll get you a more normal board term too if we avoid a global pandemic, right?
Fair.
Good stuff. Well, before I let you go too, Jacqueline will be there. It's our pitch April 3rd through the 5th. We're going to be at the Grapevine, Gaylord, Texas, and Grapevine, Texas, for our national conference. It's ConnexFM 2023. It'll be here before you know it. Go to connexfm.com to register. That's your daily grind with Jacqueline Frenzel. Have a good one.